All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Mortgage Coach Tuesday interview. Every Tuesday, we have a single goal, and that is to put on the mortgage industry's best sales meeting. So whether you work for a company that puts on great sales meetings or doesn't put on great sales meetings, we're going to do a great one today. As my special guest today, we have Bill Hillestad, a 2-decade-old buddy of mine who the first time I ever spoke in a real way in public in front of a big group and actually got so nauseous from fear, I was sharing a stage with Bill Hillestad. Bill, do you remember that time that we shared a stage 20 plus years ago?
I remember very well. I didn't know you were nauseous. You were great once you were on stage, but we've talked about that a few times since. And I just can't imagine you being nervous on stage.
Dude, nervous is the understatement of the century. I was so nervous to public speak back in the day. I think I was a freshman or a junior or freshman or a sophomore in college, and I took speaking to challenge myself because I knew that it was an important skill to learn if I wanted to be an innovator and an entrepreneur. But at the beginning, the teacher said, you know what, you can't get an A in this class unless you do this public speech at the end of the year. And I'm like, right in my head, I'm like, dude, I'm getting a B in this class. I'm not doing it. And so I was getting an A, and I really didn't care. I was willing to take the B, like, okay, I just don't have to do it. And I remember the guy like, Savage, what's up? You haven't done your presentation. You're on the schedule. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to take the B. I'm good to go. And he talked me into it. And at the time I was a ski technician at Oshman's. It's a sporting goods store that sold to Big Five. And I was a Solomon ski tech. And I grew up skiing and ski racing. And he finally just, well, what do you love? What are you passionate about? And it's like fly fishing, skiing. And I ended up teaching everybody how to tune up their skis in public. And that was my first presentation. That was super scary. And then professionally, it was with you, dude. So it's good to have you here 20 plus years later.
Yeah. Plus, I think that was 1994, if I remember. Something like that.
I think it might have been a few years later than that because I graduated from high school. Oh, 94. Yeah, it was probably 94. Yeah, that's probably it. And then we have another buddy of mine. Doesn't go back 20 years, but it feels like we're friends that have been friends for 20 plus years. What's up, Dan Keller?
What's up, buddy? How are you guys doing?
We're good. Thanks for joining us here.
Oh, I'm excited to learn. I'm here with a pencil and a pad. I'm here to learn.
I want you to be my guinea pig, man. Dan and I haven't been friends that long, just getting to know each other. And I really want to change that because looking at all your stuff, you're just the execution machine. I got to say, you're probably doing this more impressively than just about anybody I've ever seen. I would love to work with you and take it to the next level and kind of, we could keep doing this, Dave, and just using Dan as our human guinea pig for everybody, our example.
I love it. I'm the best guinea pig you'll ever find because I will do what you tell me to do.
Yeah. Now, Dan, you are a coach, and you're one of the most coachable people I've ever known, period. And Dan, it seems like you've been sharing this stage as a coach, leading a lot. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate it. And I know that everybody in the mortgage coach community appreciates how much you give back because, this guy is a dad, he's a husband. He helps his wife, who is an entrepreneur, Jenny Cookies. Check out Jenny Cookies. If you don't follow her on Instagram, do it. And he's one of America's most successful loan officers. So, dude, thanks for making all the time to jump on this stage and give back to the community.
Yeah, everyone listening, I'm doing this to learn. I'm a leader as well. And so I've got a lot to learn today. And what I do is I download it, just like all of you should, and share it, man. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm here, to share what I've learned. But I'm here today to learn. This is going to be great.
Cool. So, guys, if you have questions, whether you're watching this on Facebook, put them in comments, engage with us. If there's takeaways, put down those takeaways, questions, put down your questions, and I'll pay attention to both channels, everybody who's live Zoom and everybody who's live Facebook. Dan, just to set the stage, because we're just getting new loan officers right and left. In fact, there was a really cool post in our group by a new loan officer who just got in the industry, just created her first TCA. Just remind the new loan officers what kind of production you're doing in today's market so they know who you are.
Yeah. And I always preface this on any of these calls. These calls do not matter if you're closing 10 loans a month or if you're closing 50 or 60 loans a month, like a lot of the top loan officers in this group are. We're at the end of the year. We're December 2020, and we're going to end up wrapping up the year a little over 180 million. And this is just my team, not necessarily my branch. And just north of, if everything closes this month, just north of 425 loans up here in the Seattle marketplace.
Well, that is awesome, brother. And I want to give a shout out to Paige Zecher. I don't know if I said your name right, Paige, but she shared 15 hours ago in the group. I'm so excited. I just set my first TCA. I'm brand new to the mortgage industry, and the TCA presentation has made me feel so much more confident. Thank you, mortgage coach. So, Paige, thank you for getting out of your comfort zone. Let's face it, creating your first total cost analysis, whether you've been doing this 10 years or 10 days, it's new, it's different, it's scary. And I'm glad that we were able to make you feel more confident. So that's one of my goals with today's call is some of you are confident and comfortable in using social media strategically, and some of you aren't. Some of you, you get the news on it, you watch your friends on it. Facebook calls, that's the category called a gawker. But you're not creating, you're not adding value. And that's okay. Like if you just want to gawk, you want to watch and you want to learn, no judgment, that's all good. But if you want to use social media strategically, that's what today's topic is about. And we do a lot of content around how to use social media strategically, because that's one of the core skills of a modern mortgage professional. We believe that if you're modern, you're a mortgage professional, you need to get to the consumer first. You need to be, I think you want to be the most well-known loan officer in the markets that you serve. And guys, that's never been more easier. When I got in the business, you had to spend a lot of money on marketing if you wanted to get out there. You needed to be a designer. I mean, it cost a fortune just to design a logo. Today, everybody is empowered to create your own content, publish your own content, and be the most well-known loan officer in the markets that you serve. So Bill Hillestad is a legend in the mortgage industry. He's been well-known as a marketer, a leader. Back in the day, he was the guy that always talked about CRM and your database. And today he's saying, you know what, Facebook and social media is the ultimate CRM. So Bill, let's center this conversation around out-of-the-box strategies and things and trends that you're seeing that you think mortgage professionals and realtors need to be doing. So I hand it off to you to start that conversation and brief us on some ideas.
All right, cool. And you know what? We do this every few months or so, Dave, and just try to bring whatever's latest. Right now, I don't want to take it down a notch, but there's so many problems that people are having with Facebook. I wanted to address how to deal with a couple of those problems, especially as we moved through the election. Facebook for several weeks just blocked everything. That's it, forget it, it's all blocked because they're under so much scrutiny. So first, just a couple tips on how to deal with the problems, because anybody that's running stuff on Facebook is dealing with a lot of rejection right now. Facebook is rejecting a lot of content. I know that because I was working on some stuff for Dan and had to get involved because some younger, faster, smarter kids than me were doing it and just kept getting rejected, didn't know why. And because you open in your video, Dan, by saying, the last year's been crazy with the election, the pandemic, the whatever. So Facebook has a policy that they will not publish any content that is what they call political or of public interest unless you're a verified page and authorized to publish political content. Well, political content to them, it's all trigger words. It's not like people are really looking at this and going, is this political? Nope. Trigger words: COVID, Corona, pandemic, economy, election, politics, vote, president, anything that even remotely resembles an issue of public interest will automatically flag your content. So I just wanted to give everybody a quick tip, because it's almost everything. I mean, almost, it's hard to say anything of relevance without mentioning something of public interest. All you have to do, if you go to your business manager, business.facebook.com, and at the end, I've got the links that I'll reference on a sheet that I'll put up. If you go to business.facebook.com to your business manager, and then on the left-hand side of the screen, when you're in business manager and business settings, down on the very bottom, it's business info. And when you go to business info, that's where you've got your business address, etc., all your business information. Down there on the bottom, when you go into business info, scroll to the bottom of that page and you'll see verify business. And you click on verify business and you have to put in some information about your business and they'll pop up and say, is this you? Bottom line, what they're going to do after you fill out that form is they're going to send you a piece of mail that you then have to get the code out of that mail and go back in and put that code in. And it's kind of a pain because it takes a week or two to get it done. But they just want to verify that you're a real business, that you can receive mail here in the US, that you're not, you know, from another country trying to manipulate, you know, our opinions on something, whatever. That's all it is. You just go into business manager, go down to business info, hit verify business, make sure your information's up to date, and then get that piece of mail, put in that code. And now all of those rejections will go away because honestly, Dave, I would say that it's half of what people are posting these days is getting rejected if they don't have a verified business. So there's just a quick, like I said, kind of a boring tip, but critical. You're muted, Dave.
Thank you. I don't know if you listen to this podcast. I know a lot of people have watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix, but there was an interview with Joe Rogan where he interviewed the guy who did it. His name is Tristan something. And one of the most shocking things I heard during that Joe Rogan interview was that I think it's like 3 billion accounts a year that Facebook has to deactivate worldwide because of a fraud. So guys, that's the why. I mean, this is not a small problem. The amount of, I don't know, just people creating spam, creating noise, creating misinformation. Think about that, guys. So I know that what Bill just described sounds like a major pain in the butt, but Facebook is having to weed the garden, and they need to make sure the garden are real people, real businesses that are not just operating under aliases for bad reasons. So, by the way, really cool interview. I actually thought it was more informative than Social Dilemma, the movie itself. Wow. The interview with Joe Rogan, I actually got more takeaways from than the movie itself. Anyways, Bill, I just thought I'd insert that little bit of random insight.
Yeah, it's not Facebook being bad. It's them trying to deal with, I mean, it's crazy stuff. It's crazy times.
3 billion accounts that they had to kill, delete because of bad stuff.
Yeah, no, I saw a thing once on all of the counseling and psychological help that they have to get for the poor people who filter the content, because somebody has to look at all the content and go, nope, that's banned, that's banned. Well, they see the craziest stuff you can imagine because they have to block, and all they do all day long is look at crazy bad stuff and have to delete it. And their job expectancy, life expectancy on the job is like 7 months, and all kinds of psychological counseling, everything else. It's an interesting dilemma, but all that set aside, this really isn't that tough. You just got to verify your business, verify you're a real human. That's good. I only want to see stuff from real humans. Kind of wish we all had to verify everything, but for now, it's just anything of social or public interest, which kind of leads us into the next one, which is special ad categories. All the content that's getting rejected for special ad categories. And Dave, if you don't mind, I'd like to share my screen and kind of show this one.
You have complete
that's-
permission to do anything. And Dan, at some point, we're going to have you share some of your examples. So just
Yeah,
know
I
that
really
when
wanna
you're
get
ready to do that, go for it.
All right, let's see. Here we go. In Business Manager, let's say you're going to create an ad in Business Manager. Here we go. I'm just going to go to Ad Manager. And when you go to create an ad in Business Manager, anything that's related to housing, employment, or credit has to claim a special ad category so that it won't be discriminatory. You can't discriminate. And this is tough because, like, I work with somebody who does reverse mortgages, but he can't discriminate against 18-year-olds. He's not allowed to set an age. So he has to advertise to 18 to any age for a mortgage that's only available to people over 62. How do you deal with this? So I just want to show you, when you go to create an ad and you say lead generation or video views or messages, whatever it is you want. And by the way, messages is the holy grail instead of lead generation for those of you that want leads, separate topic. I come in here and I have to claim a special ad category. And then I say, okay, it's housing. And by the way, mortgage is considered housing, not credit. More problems you'll deal with. Then you say next, and you're going to go into your targeting, and it's always campaign, ad set, ad. And when you're doing your targeting on Facebook, the targeting for the longest time disappeared when you said you were in housing and you couldn't do it. So I'm going to show you 2 ways that you can still do targeting. And in fact, all I hear is people complaining about this special ad category. I can't target anymore. It won't work. And I'm telling you, the difficulties they throw up make it harder for everybody else, takes away all your competition, makes it infinitely more profitable if you figure out how to do this. So when I come in here and it's time for me to do my targeting, and I come down to detailed targeting and I say edit, everything disappeared for the longest time. But little by little, Facebook's been going through the 100,000 or so different targeting options and adding them back. Now, they're not adding back demographic data like age or sex or income, but they're added back the overwhelming majority of interests. So if I come in here and say, who do I want to target? Well, let's say pre-qualification lending. That's an interest. All I have to do, and that's a great one to start with, by the way. So come in here if you're in mortgage, type in pre-qualification, and then select it, and then go to suggestions and hit suggestions. And now come down here and start to add more, but be careful. Notice when I hover over mortgage loans, it says, where is it? 169 million. That's anybody who's ever liked any post from anybody in the mortgage industry, any mortgage related anything. That's not somebody who's really looking for a mortgage. If it's over 50 million, it's not a real category. Don't use it. So I come in here and I'm going to skip mortgage loans because that's ridiculous. That's almost everybody. But first time buyers is awesome. 24 million. People who are hunting for a house. Yeah. How about people who are property finders, starter home, first time home buyer grant. And you can see I've now built out a fairly impressive 18 million person audience, which I can then narrow down. And when you go to narrow it down, because you're in a special ad category, you can narrow it down to a 15-mile radius. That's what they limit you to. So down here where it says United States, I'm just going to say edit. And I'm going to say, gosh, how about Hermosa Beach, where I am at the moment? And Hermosa Beach, California, plus 15 miles. You can see I can't go smaller than 15 miles. That's the smallest radius they'll let you target so that you don't hit just the money zip codes and ignore certain zip codes. But you don't have to do a city plus a radius. You can come in and just drop a pin, and then you can add a radius to that pin of down to 15 miles. But either way, now I've got my all these people that were looking for houses, trying to get pre-qualified, whatever, but only in that area around my office, and it's 690,000 people. That's ideal for a top of funnel lead gen type of campaign. So you do have targeting. I just want to highlight that targeting is back. You just have to be careful because you're using interest only, not to use the big interest. If you put in people interested in owning a home, it's 600 million or 300 million, or luxury real estate, 400 million. Skip those, pick the little ones, narrow it down. You have targeting again. And then the last tip on this one is my personal favorite. I want to market to realtors. This one's for you, Dan. This is what I want to do with you. One of the things I want every realtor within 50 miles of your office to see you at least once a week, so that no matter where they see you, grocery store, public, whatever event, they recognize you instantly. But you can't target realtors anymore if you're in a special ad category, because it flags it as real estate. So here's what you do, because by the way, you can, when you go into the targeting down here, you can put in job titles, real estate agent, real estate broker, whatever, and suggestion, wear out every suggestion, and then it'll give you employers, and you'll hit them from every company, and you'll have every realtor within whatever range you want. But if your post has remember, it's all flagged by keywords. If it says real estate, mortgage, loan, anything related to mortgage or real estate, flagged. So here's what you do. You put up a post that has nothing to do with real estate, because you're trying to put up a post at least once a week anyway. So the first one you put up, make it be for a charity. Hey, it's Dan Keller. I just wanted to remind everybody that this weekend is the Children's Cancer Hospital auction, 10K, whatever, something going on, but just make it something completely, and it has to be completely. You can't even say the word mortgage or loan or credit or real estate. Make it completely non-related. Target it to all these realtors. Set your objective, like we did going into video views, and put a good budget behind it, and set it for a longer run. Set it for 15 days, 10 days, and put some real money behind it, because you're going to spend as much as 3 or 4 cents per person to get this thing viewed. So I got 10,000 realtors. Yeah, it costs you $300. But as soon as they've watched 3 seconds of that video, they are now captured into a custom audience. So for example, let's see, somewhere I had audiences open. I've been jumping around so much, I kind of lost it. Well, anyway, if you go into your audiences, that's what we had to do for the Modern Mortgage Summit. When I was working with Dave and Todd, well, we don't want to advertise that to anybody but loan officers, but it got flagged. So I had to put up a couple pieces of content that had nothing to do with it. And the moment you guys watch 3 seconds of one of those videos, it could have been a cat video. It doesn't even have to be on the same page. In fact, in this case, it wasn't on the same page. I put up another page just to put out a piece of content, and I got 67,000 loan officers to watch that. Now I could share Dan Keller's video and Kelly Zitlow and you know, everybody else, all those videos, I could share them, and I now have that audience. And by the way, or Dave now has that audience. Probably the only person on the planet right now that can easily and effectively advertise to loan officers. And I think it's up over 100,000 people now. But all you have to do is put up one post to all your realtors, build your realtor audience as a custom audience, and now all of a sudden it's you claim special ad category, you pick your custom audience, you can use the two together, and you're the only person who can advertise to realtors. No loan officer can advertise to realtors right now. It's virtually impossible. And yet, if you do this, you'll have all the realtors in your audience, and it only takes one of your posts. So there's tip number 2, how to get around the special ad categories. 1, with targeting that is returned, and 2, with custom audiences.
Dan, what do you think, bro? You like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hack, definitely, because I've been trying over the last couple of years. I've had a little bit of success, but you're right, Bill. Lately, I've pretty much given up on running the ads or boosting my posts to real estate agents, because they are getting flagged anytime you mention real estate or mortgage. The last campaign that I had success with is I shared a form and a newsletter. And it got shared a bunch of times. It got a lot of shares, a lot of interactions, and it was video based. And then click down below to download the form. There was no catch. They didn't have to put in their name or their email, and we were just using that again to capture views, to capture data. But this is genius. And so, okay, I'm volunteering as your guinea pig. You've got my credit card. Let's roll.
Real quick, guys, Miriam Bennett, we are recording this. Everything in the Mortgage Coach community is recorded. Our Friday and Tuesday calls are live, so it will be viewed real time and immediately after the call in our Facebook channel. And then it will be uploaded within an hour into our YouTube channel, where, think of that, guys, is Netflix for mortgage professionals, where you make money while being entertained by elite authors and mortgage pros. So Miriam, thanks for being active in our community. Remember, guys, if you have questions, let us know what they're at. We're not even at the halfway point, although we're almost at the halfway point. So Bill, where do you want to go from here?
I was going to throw out one more tip. So there's dealing with all the rejection, because that seems to be the biggest topic I encounter these days. And also, don't forget, keep going to business.facebook.com/help. And if you go to the bottom and click through to the next screen, and then go to the bottom and click through to the next screen, there is chat help, and you can chat, and it's called concierge help, but they only activate it on an account that has been running in good graces for a while. So if it's not there for you, just keep checking back, because sooner or later that will activate, and now you have chat, so that when they reject your post, you can go in and say, hey, this is not an offer of housing. I was targeting realtors. And they'll pass your stuff. So that's probably available to you too, Dan, and a way around it. So next, I wanted to talk about bad content can be good content. I'm trying to think of how to say this. We call it screening content. I always try to get people to put up 80% of what you put up for others. It's content that people want to consume, content that's interesting, whatever. And 20% of it can be straight up solicitation. And I have to steer people to do that, because most people only want to solicit. They only want to sell. You got to put up 80% that's there to make them like you in between. And when you do put up the content that's meant to sell, it's not good social content, guys. That's the content where everybody really messes up and tries to do it organically. That stuff will go nowhere organically. It just doesn't. People don't want to see a talking head talking about USDA loans or whatever. And yet it's some of the most profitable content on the planet. And Dan, in doing some of this stuff, was looking at some of your content. You've got some amazing stuff. And I was going through some of the other folks that you pointed me to do some of these experiments with, Dave, like Alex Cook. I'm going to share my screen again. Where is 2? Take a peek. Look at this. There's Dan. I'm sorry, picking on you, man. I don't mean to do it, but I just love, and I want to talk about this in a second. Runs a campaign, uses campaign optimization, where Facebook will automatically steer the money into the one that's working best. And then it looks to me like there's about 9 different versions of this ad. And I know this ad generated well over 100 leads for you. Casual, authentic video. And by the way, every ad should always be video. Here's Alex Cook. And I got to tell you, I was just working with Alex, and he was telling me that off of this, he got 3 calls from realtors that wanted to meet with them, and got a call from a woman who said, I've been watching your videos and I own almost 100 properties. I want you to be my mortgage guy. And And if you guys know Alex, he's only been in the business for about a year, and he's going to implode from all the business he's getting and how fast he's growing. And it's all coming from this Facebook stuff. And look at his video. It's just,
do not have time to set up the camera in the studio today and make a fancier video than this.
so there he is in his hat,
Hey,
shooting it from the car.
and real quick, guys, I'm going to put a link. I had interviewed Alex on his 6th month in the business when he had just closed 20 loans in a single month, and it was his 6th month in the mortgage business. Now, the guy is an experienced businessman. He didn't just like come out of college and get into mortgage. You know, he knew how to sell. He knew how to operate. He knew how to be a marketer. But it was his 6th month in the mortgage business, and it was only about 3 or 4 months ago. So I'll put a link to that interview down below. And since then, I think Michelle Castle has been working with you. Dan has been experimenting with you. And I know Alex is doing some stuff with you. So anyways, guys, link down below in all of our channels if you want to watch that interview with Alex.
Yeah, and you know what? That's glad you brought that up. That's the perfect example, because what I'm talking about is when you put up content, for me, it's content that's meant to build authority and make you look like an authority figure. It's not good social content. It costs a lot more to promote that content, but it's so worth it. Because you got to think, and look, this is one experiment we've been doing, a program called The Extra Mile. And it's just been a fun experiment with some folks you introduced me to, Dave, Jim McQuaig's son, Josh McQuaig. He and his partner run a video production company back in Virginia. And so we've been trying this virtual video production. And as a matter of fact, I'll share their information because video production costs a lot. So this is a tip for you, but technology's come so far that we're able to produce these videos virtually now. Look, here's Dan's interview video. We're able to produce these videos virtually, or they are, I can't.
Until next year to buy. I'm gonna, the election's coming up. We're right kind of in the heart of COVID. I'm gonna wait for a deal
And
wait until next year. Hi, and welcome to another episode of The Extra Mile. And I'm your host, Stefan Luke.
And basically it's a show, The Extra Mile, about people that go above and beyond. We created this format, Stefan and Josh and his partner Michael did, so that they could interview people that go above and beyond and then promote that, so that that video, I think that one just went live late last night or early this morning. And it'll pull down 20,000 plus views. I know Michelle's, I think, was up to, I don't know, I want to say something like 30,000 views or 26,000 views. Yep, there's Dan's, there's Michelle's, 27,000 views. And this is just a fun experiment. But the key is we create this kind of content that makes you look good, but it's not really good social content. No offense, dig you damn, but nobody wants to watch an interview with the loan officer. But the 27,000 people who did watch a portion of that interview, they are either looking for a mortgage, they dig your style, they connect, they're your perfect prospect. They're the people that you want in your database. Because going back to, the 90s when Dave and I did that first speaking thing together, same sermon back then, only two marketing functions. You're growing a database, you're nurturing one, that's it, period, done, end of story. Well, now I call it growing a personal network, or you're nurturing one, because it doesn't have to be a database. I don't need your name and phone number, but I want people in my audience. Because remember, the moment they watch 3 seconds of a video or more, I've captured them. I can now have them see my content moving forward. Well, when we push out screening content like this, I don't know what kind of people want to sit and watch. And actually, everybody should go check out The Extra Mile on Facebook and watch Dan's interview. It is really impressive, and everything from the adjunct professor to the heart of an educator to the financial planner background. I'm telling you, anybody that watches this, they're yours. They're yours, period. And so when you put this kind of content out, where normally I'll get a video view for anywhere from 2 cents on the high side, third of a cent on the low side, usually average less than a penny. For these, I might pay a nickel. It costs more to find them because Facebook has to work to find them. But when they find them, and when we take, because you have to recognize those 27,000 people that saw that video, out of that, there's going to be, say, 13,000 people that are now captured in Michelle Castle's audience. And for just doing this one video, she's now going to have a 13,000 person database that can see her content every single time she puts it up. Because all she has to do is put it in there, choose those people, choose that custom audience on the targeting. And now she only needs to allocate, say, half a cent per. So those 13,000 people, yeah, $60, it'll do. She'll hit almost every one of them, because what we've discovered is once somebody has watched one of your videos, they're roughly 3 to 4 times more likely to watch your future videos than your own friends on Facebook. The people who actually follow your page are they don't dig you nearly as much as the people who watched your video before. So we call this screening content, because what I'm doing is I'm screening or searching for the right people. So when I go in and I look at some of, and I don't know how your campaigns did. I just saw them. I'm just assuming. But Dan, when I look at this stuff about the USDA posts or whatever, whether the leads were the greatest leads or not, when somebody watches a video about buying their first home, qualifying, no money down, that's why I love the mortgage coach content so much. Because when you guys put up a TCA example, like that's what Alex's post here was. It said something about, I've moved off it already, but find out how I saved this couple $950 a month. And that was it. That was his whole post. Then he just shot a video about like a TCA example. Anybody that watches that digs your style. They wouldn't watch it. You're their kind of person. You're familiar to them, and they care about what you're talking about. So curious, Dan, how are, because that's not your regular content. I see your regular content, but when you do those and you double down, you put real money into it, how does it work for you? Yeah,
that was a campaign that I messed around with a few months ago. And the great thing about that campaign is we ran a series. So we used the video, we used the carousel ad. We mainly use that for Instagram. But we went back and forth, and I think the 6.9 thousand people it touched, or in regards to over the last 28 days. And I want to say that the ads probably ran its course. It's time for some new material. But we attached it to a lead gen, like basically fill out a form, request a meeting. Out of that, 3 pre-approvals, we generated a lot of leads, a lot of contact forms, a lot of not so great leads. But I mean, at the end of the day, these are people reaching out and they have, no money down, or they have sub 680, 660 credit score. So one, it's an opportunity for me to help. The desire's there. They watch the video. They want to buy a home. They want to be a homeowner one day. And that's one of the reasons. I mean, if you're really, truly going to be, a lender for life, or you're going to be a part of the community, when you're running these ads, you need to fulfill your obligation. That's to help people reach their goal of the American dream. So it's been a lot of work. I think, I'd love to, and I know you can't do this, and this is where I'd lean on a guy like you. I'd really love next level to start breaking into the VA. We have a heavy VA market up here. And I know VA leads, they're expensive, they're tougher, but we were just kind of experimenting with USDA, because just north of Seattle, you have a lot of USDA territory.
Got it. All right.
Hey, Dan.
That'll be our topic. VA would be good. I like it. It's a fun one.
Dan, what would have been your most successful, call it social media, Facebook campaigns? I don't know whether you want to answer that for the year or in the past 3 months. What really stands out is I did this and it moved the needle and added significant value. What comes to mind?
This campaign by far, the USD and the video, which is just me in a regular button up, short sleeve t-shirt, right? Nothing fancy, no suit and tie. And I'm talking to the, my people. first-time home buyers. They don't want a guy in a suit and tie in a high-rise, right? These are people north of Seattle that they just want help, man. They want guidance. They've heard of this program. They see an opportunity to buy with low down or zero down. And in fact, the copy that I used that really got the most engagement was how to buy a $500,000 house with zero down. So it wasn't how to buy with zero down. It was how to buy a $500,000 house with 3% down. How to buy a $500,000 house in Seattle with zero down. In the Seattle area with zero down. So the copy was key, and then I think the video. And it was a very short video. I don't know if Bill, you watched it. It was a minute and a half of this is what the USDA loan is. I've been doing these since 2008. There's a lot of things you need to know, misconceptions. Here's 2 of them, and I want to help you. So short, copy was good. The video was authentic, and it was short.
So guys, I've interviewed Dan countless times on this, and I don't know when you first said on the Mortgage Coach stage, but I want to be the most well-known loan officer in the Seattle market. But when you look at what Dan does, it's all just little pieces to a big puzzle, which is not all filled out. I mean, you think you're there where you are every realtor doesn't know you, but you are the most well-known loan officer by realtors who are on social media? Do you think you've achieved that goal in Seattle?
No.
So,
I mean, I am the guy. I back before COVID, you'd go into a real estate office and you'd be waiting in the lobby, or you'd be walking around with a realtor and they'd be like, "Hey, I saw your video," stuff like that. I mean, had some momentum prior to COVID, but I doubled down at the beginning of COVID. I enrolled in Bill Hillestad's social media class, that workshop he did for a week. That was May. That was like right at the very beginning of COVID. And then I doubled down with a local, a couple of buddies that are local that understand how to, Bill, no, I couldn't, I took your course, but it was so deep. So I went and hired a couple of tech kids to help me with, running some ads and creating a contact form. But it's helped. I mean, I said at the beginning of COVID, hey, people are sitting on their phones in front of their computers. We're busy with refinances. I'm not making my realtor calls on Monday like I should be. All right. I'm going to start creating a ton of content around money, around business, around mindset. And so I created a little a series around mortgage, money, and mindset. And so mindset could be a motivational type quote, something that's speaking to me right now in a book that I'm reading. Money, I'm really big right now on budgeting, and I'm getting a lot of traction. I think that's my goal in 2021, is to be more focused on financial education. That will lead to a mortgage conversation, but financial education, so many people are hurting for that info right now. And so I'm not there yet, Dave, but I'm definitely making progress, and Bill taking me on as his guinea pig, I'm sure will get me much further along than I am right now.
I love it. Well, guys, we've got about 15 more minutes. I want to make sure a few resources get out. And then remember, guys, if you have questions, ask them down below. So, from a resource standpoint, if you're watching this right now and you want to be the most well-known loan officer in the markets that you serve, you want to generate leads and close more loans because of what you do on social media. First of all, you got to follow Bill Hillestad, and Bill has a new platform. Bill, what is your new platform, just so people know about it? I know it's kind of an evolution of that training. We promoted a training when COVID hit, and we had hundreds of loan officers sign up to self-educate around social media. But tell everybody about your new platform real quick, Bill.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been doing these trainings forever. The problem with the trainings is that, like Dan was saying, it's too much. It's drinking from a fire hose. You can't take it all at once. So I teamed up with some, like I said, younger, faster, better, smarter people. Got a PhD in learning pedagogy, putting together these classes, but we set it up as a membership time, and it's social-simple.com this time, so that it's not take a course, see you later, done. It goes on into perpetuity, or it's an annual membership, so that we have support, set it up to have open support a couple times a week, so that at lunch you can come in and get one-on-one support. I have a full-time Facebook support group manager. If you go to Facebook group Social Simple, sign up there. That you can do for free. You can also get a free membership at Social Simple, and I've got multiple classes up there for free. And then if somebody actually wants to sign up and go through the whole thing, for the annual membership, we charge the same thing we did for the course, which is $14.87. And by the way, if anybody's ever been to one of my other courses, just put a note in there. We'll give you credit for whatever you've ever spent with me. I don't want to double charge people, but I've got 32 courses in there. I'm pretty excited about it. Just trying to do it different this time, because it's not enough to teach it. We got to support people. We got to push them. We got to stay with them and keep having them take it to the next level, because I can't stand it when people fail to execute, fail to implement. And by the way, Dan, I was just peeking at your stuff. You had 453,000 Facebook impressions since you started. That's pretty impressive. And you're spending some real money. That's what I want to drive home to everybody. You gotta commit to this stuff. And like the campaign you mentioned, that one had 93,000 impressions by itself, and you were under $20 a lead. Well, even if it takes 20 leads to get a deal, which is actually the average is closer to 50, but even at 50 leads, that's under $1,000 alone. I presume most people make more than $1,000 alone. But one of the things I wanted to point out was going back to the beginning of time when I was the database nerd in the mortgage industry. We found that because most people do good to convert 2% of their leads. But if we didn't treat them as leads, because everybody always complains that these leads suck. If we didn't treat them as leads, if we treated them as contacts, I don't care if you're doing a deal now or not. I just want to grow my database. Only two functions: grow, nurture, forget sales. We found that we would push our conversion rate up to anywhere from 8 to 12%. And here's the exact stats for you. When you take every contact and you stay in touch with them into perpetuity, we found that 40% of our conversions came in the first 90 days. 48% came in the second 90 days, and 12% took more than 6 months. How many people work a lead for 90 days? It doesn't matter when you do a deal. What we found was I'm going to get 8 to 12% annually out of a database. If you take a database, treat people good, and you take care of them, and all the things that Dan was talking about, you're going to pull about 8% a year out of their year, or it's next average out. If you business like that, it's leads and relationship contacts, grow your personal network. Well, of the 20,000 people and reach 130 leads that I'm looking at that turned into multiple prequals. Well, think about of the 20,000 people reached, probably 12,000 unique video viewers that are now in a database because they watched him do a video, and now they can see him over and over and over. That's a personal network. That is, and look, when your database starts getting too big, you can move it to only people that have watched a full through play of a video or whatever. And I can tell you, that's the holy grail. 4 times more likely than your own friends. So I just wanted to come back to that and not leave that. Thank you for bringing up Social Simple, by the way, Dave. I really would love it if everybody would come and sign up, at least for the free stuff. I want to push out a bunch of free stuff. We're not really getting aggressive about this. It's been a passion project for many months. Going to actually take it out to public after the first of the year. I want to get through the holidays, but we're up, we're running. Oh, by the way, MC100, if you put in MC100 in the discount code, you get $100 off for being mortgage coach. And then I wanted to also bring up again, the guys that did that video I showed you with the interview with Dan, or the one with Alex, or the one with Michelle, the extra mile stuff.
with
That-
getting their additional advice and their pre-approval from an internet lender. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, it was kind of a situation where the borrower, I think in the end was confused. Luckily, he connected with a great real estate professional. The real estate professional in the Seattle.
Just want to make sure you guys saw what a great looking video looks like. So you were going to say something about that, Bill?
Yeah, well, you know, these guys, they'll tell you it costs them over $500 to shoot one little video when they have to go out and do it, because that's what they do. They had a video production company, and we got this crazy technology, and you introduced me to them because that's, you know, Josh was Jim McQuaig's son. You're like, these guys are doing amazing stuff. You ought to, and Dave does this to me all the time. You really ought to meet them, Bill. And so I met them 6 months ago, and we started working on this. I started pushing stuff at them, and they started doing this virtual video production where they can take over somebody's iPhone and control it beyond your own controllability that I can do on my own iPhone. They have ISO and shutter speed and everything else. They can play with the sound. They can shoot multiple people, and they're shooting these professional videos with videographers remotely, with the idea that they were going to then start helping people produce shows. Something Dan might want to do is create your own show. Well, they used Stefan Lubinsky, who's from the cable industry and media and had a background in his youth in mortgage. They used him to create this first show around as an experiment, The Extra Mile, where he interviews people that go above and beyond, that are going, and so they've been doing these things. I got to tell you, it's pretty impressive. It's been a lot of fun to work with them. I really think it's the future. They're able to do this for a tiny fraction of what it costs to produce professional video. So if anybody ever wants to have, you know, episodic programming type of stuff, professionally produced interviews, definitely want to talk to Josh at Top Shot Pro Marketing, Josh McQuaig, or just email me and I'll connect you. Or if you're interested in being on The Extra Mile, like we just put up with Dan and Kelly and Alex and Michelle, I'm kind of blown away. It's, you know, like I said, that first video got 27,000 views already. With unbelievable publicity, but remember, it's not the 27,000 views, it's the 13,000 person audience that Michelle now has of people that actually watch this stuff. And guys, you just got to remember, if you put the money into it and you do it, you build these incredible audiences of people that dig your style, like your topic, care about what you have to say. So that was Josh at Top Shot, like, you know, camera, topshotpromarketing.com. Reach out to them and talk to them about doing because I think they're all in cost to produce those shows with all the traffic and the promo and the advertising and everything is like $1,500. The idea that I can get that much publicity, build that big of an audience, and they do like a half an hour interview now, and then break it up into 4 videos. So now you got 4 videos that can go out instead of 1. I just dig the kids, love seeing people that are young and hungry and have a better work ethic than I do anymore.
Yeah, I love it. So let me summarize a few things. Let me summarize a few things. So by the way, Josh and Michael, if you guys are watching and you want to put a link to how to get in touch with you in the Mortgage Coach channel, put it down below. I'll make sure it's also available in the recording. I want to get some feedback from you, Dan, but I want to also share everybody a new resource that hit into the Mortgage Coach community yesterday. So I think most of you were, you know, tuned into the Modern Mortgage Summit. One of the best keynotes of that Modern Mortgage Summit was Denise Donahue. And in that keynote that she did, she showed a social media image that she used to advertise for first-time homebuyers. So guys, first of all, her sister, Deborah, is also a social media consultant. Doesn't do the same thing that Josh and Michael do in terms of video, but we took a social media image that she did and she collaborated with the Mortgage Coach marketing team. So Deborah, thank you very much for collaborating with the Mortgage Coach marketing team. And we created an image from that that you guys can customize. So again, remember, this is just one image, one campaign, 1 week, not even 1 week of content, 1 day of content. But this is also available in the Mortgage Coach channel today. So check it out. It's in the file section. It's the most recent file that was uploaded. So you can actually customize the PowerPoint, put in your own custom content and post that. Deborah Bird, thank you very much for
Dave,
helping
I
collaborate.
love this. I just want to throw in one quick note on that. Guys, PowerPoints are unbelievable video creation tools. I can't tell you how many millions of views I've had on PowerPoint videos, millions of views, because I hate being on camera. If you take that video, everybody download that PowerPoint, and then just go into transitions and throw a bunch of animated transitions. If you really want to get fancy, you can animate what's in the slides, but you just say random transitions and it'll, do its little thing when it's, well, now you say file, export as a MOV or an MP4. PowerPoint exports as movies, and you can either do it with your own timing where you just sit and click through and go 1, 2, 3 next, 1, 2, 3 next, or you can just say give me 3 seconds a slide, whatever you want. But take that PowerPoint, make a video, and it's exactly what we were just talking about. It's not as good as doing a 1.5-minute educational video like Dan was talking about or whatever, but I'm telling you, if everybody took that PowerPoint, put it up, did it as either lead gen or even better yet, messenger messages, it's leads that they do through Messenger. And it's awesome because you don't have to chase them now and try to get them to pick up the phone. It's 100% connection rate. If you put $100 on that, you're going to get a half a dozen leads. You're going to get a few leads no matter what. It just works. That's a killer resource that anybody could have leads by tomorrow from. Sorry, Dave.
No, dude, don't be sorry. So guys, you got a lot of free resources. You got a free social media post. You got an invite to be part of Bill's community for free. You got Dan Keller's best social media ad. And this is a guy that's one of the best in the country. And then you got 3 resources. So Josh and Michael, feel free to share links. By the way, Bill, when you shared links in the Zoom channel, you just shared them with panelists. You didn't share it with audience and panelists. So just a reminder there. But guys, when we put this on YouTube, look in the description down below, and any of the links, any of the referrals, we'll put out there. Deborah, if you want to put a video in the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel, just putting your color around that collaboration you did with the Mortgage Coach marketing team and share how they can leverage that, go for it. Michael and Josh, if you want to do the same thing, my goal at Mortgage Coach is I want a Mortgage Coach loan officer that's delivering the best advice experience in America using our total cost analysis. And I want them to crush every other loan officer in America. I want them to get more leads. I want them to have better conversion. And that's why I partner with Bill. I bring in who I think are some of the best leaders, consultants, coaches, people to help loan officers be the best. Also, for anyone who's watching this that is a social media consultant, I noticed we got Nick Carpenter, the Legion of Loan Officers, Legion of Loan Officers. Some of the most elite people in the industry are part of this community. Make sure you check out what Bill's doing, because he's also doing Train the Trainers. So if you are doing social media consulting for loan officers, guys, trust me, I have yet to talk to anyone who's a marketing consultant that says, I don't learn things from Bill. So not only does he make his advice available directly to loan officers, he's the coach of the coach. If you're a social media coach, you can learn something from Bill. Of course, I think most of the people in the mortgage industry already know that, and they follow him. That's why they're watching this call with Bill right now. Dan, I'm going to give you the closing thoughts and words. Any feedback you want to give or anything you want to say? And Bill, I'll give it back to you.
Yeah, I think my big takeaway from Bill is having a strategy. And this is kind of what I do. I don't just make the video to get likes, to get hearts, to get comments. I mean, there's a strategy around it. The ultimate strategy with that USDA video, which we didn't talk about, but I'll just share it with you. I'm creating an audience so that when we do first-time homebuyer classes again in person, that I have an audience to directly market to, if you will. We did a virtual one last month. We're doing another one. I think Christian, the real estate agent that I do them with, so we had almost 50 people on a virtual home buying class. I've had 4 meetings with them. So as we continue to build this database, if you will, it's just people that, hey, when we do a home buyer event, they might not be ready next month, but in 3 months, in 6 months, when they see that ad or they see that video inviting them, they'll join. So one, implement, just do it. Number 2, make sure you have a strategy. It's more than just likes and views.
Love that. Bill,
Yeah.
closing thoughts for you, buddy.
You know what? Dan's right. And Dan, be sure to reach out to me after this, because I really, if you just stick with a strategy, I'd like to see everybody get 100,000 views a month. But if it's 100,000 views a month from the same people, the right people, consistently over and over, then you really are. You're the most, you're the Dave Ramsey or the Susie Orm or Robert Kiyosaki, whatever, of your marketplace. You are famous. Every realtor should see you every week. Everybody who's watched one of your videos should see you, but just commit to a budget, stay with it. It will pay. It's impossible for it not to. And Dave, I just wanted to throw one last thing in on the marketing people. People always want to hire me, and I don't have time to do this much. I'm really passionate about this training, but that's the train the trainer stuff. We put together a resource, a DFY library of people, so that when somebody wants it done, I can steer off more business than most people could ever dream of handling. And that's one of the things that we wanted to pull into the community. So anybody that would like to do this for others, it's our final level. We're going to teach you. We're going to hold your hand. We're going to help you. And if you still can't do it, here's a bunch of people that honestly know how to do this correctly, the right way, that can help you, because I can't. So yes, marketing people, I'm not your competitor. I'm your source of business.
So guys, think about this. Dan Keller, strategy matters. What's your strategy? What are your goals? Write down 2 or 3 of them as we come into 2021. One of those goals, Bill just told you, I want 100,000 people in my database, in my market, that are the right people. When I say database, I'm talking about your custom audience in Facebook. And then I want those same people to watch your content, your videos, and you will be successful. You will crush it. You will have a snowball modern mortgage practice that just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And your past customer database gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You want to have at least 1,000 customers in your past customer database that are in HomeBot, that are getting a mortgage coach total cost analysis, that are getting an annual review. And then guys, you know what happens? You don't care if Amazon gets in the mortgage business. You don't care that Zillow is in the mortgage business. You don't care that Quicken has gone public, because you have 100,000 people on social media that are consuming your content. They see you as the local expert. You have 1,000 people in HomeBot getting mortgage coach. You will make millions of dollars and be a multi-million-dollar real estate professional. You buy real estate, you build more wealth. And that's what we want to see for you here at Mortgage Coach. Hopefully you got value today. This call is a wrap. If you got value from this, give it a like. Make sure you connect with Bill Hillestad, social/simple.com. And also follow the other consultants that we think do a great job out there. Take care, y'all. Hopefully this is valuable. Thank you, Dan.
Guys. It's been fun.